Hey, this is Seth, and in this video I want to answer the question I get a lot, which is how is artificial intelligence affecting the digital marketing job market? Is it going to replace digital marketing jobs like PPC, SEO, analytics, email marketing, meta advertising? I just want to share this quick screenshot of an ad that was generated by Google AI. As you can see, it says unreliable service. So imagine you've just trusted Google's AI to create ad copy for you. It's this amazing technology. You don't need human beings. And then it creates this, which is essentially broadcasting to the internet that you are a terrible company and you're unreliable. This is what we would call a big fail. This could cost a brand millions of dollars, damage their reputation. How did this happen? It happened because Google's AI scraped the web and found what must have been a negative review, didn't understand it was a negative review, didn't understand the context, and used it to populate the ad. And this is what happens when you cut human beings out of the digital marketing strategy and creative process. So that's just one little mistake, and I just want you to keep that in the back of your head throughout the rest of this video, and imagine if this kind of mistake had been made on your company or a giant multi-billion-dollar company, and the impact these types of mistakes can have, because this is a high-stakes career. Just like law, just like medicine, just like flying an airplane. Airplanes have had autopilot for decades, but we didn't just fire all the pilots. You need the pilot in the cockpit to help the plane take off, to land the plane, but to be there in case anything goes wrong, to make adjustments. Even though AI tools are going to be used more and more for research and possibly like bid optimization, you still need human beings to guide the AI, human beings who understand digital marketing. And this is the big thing people don't really realize. Like, you could ask ChatGPT all about how to do like a surgical procedure, right? And it will probably have some basic information, maybe even some in-depth information that it acquired from the web. But would you want a person off the street to just do surgery on you? Wouldn't you rather have a trained, licensed surgeon who has years of experience to do the surgery? And it's very similar in digital marketing. I mean, we're not talking about, life and death like that, but we're talking about ad budgets, which can be the life or death of a business. And that's why the high-level jobs, the strategy jobs, managing accounts, this is not going to just be replacing people in digital marketing. AI is a tool that is used to make yourself more efficient. Nick Battle was telling me, he's one of my students who's a PPC coach for my program. He manages $2 million in advertising per month, paid advertising. He talks with these CEOs directly, people spending $500,000 a month. These guys are not going to just hand over their advertising budgets to an AI. They don't trust it, and the technology isn't there. This is a high stakes profession. He had a client that wanted to run a new campaign the following week, and they wanted to target a new niche, and he had to do a lot of research. He had to do some market research. He had to look at some numbers, some spreadsheets. It was a lot of data to analyze, and he said normally that would take him about 5 or 6 hours, but he used AI, and the whole process took him about an hour. That's a more realistic account of how AI is going to be used and is being used in this field. It's helping people, human beings who understand strategy and understand how digital marketing works, be more efficient with their time. The other thing to understand about paid search and media buying and all online advertising is that the reason these jobs exist, guys, is to protect the advertiser from the platform. Google is like a casino. Okay, imagine walking into Caesar's Palace and you want to play blackjack, but before you get there, the casino has what they call a gambling specialist, and they say, hey guys, don't even worry about gambling on blackjack. We have a gambling specialist that's going to help you place your bets, and all you got to do is give us your bank account and we'll place all the bets for you, and you're going to make a ton of money. Would you trust that gambling associate? No, of course you wouldn't. Google does the same thing when it onboards advertisers, and it's a very nuanced relationship between Google and its advertisers, because yes, Google wants its advertisers to make money. And by the way, I'll just step back a moment if you're completely new to this. Google makes most of its money through something called Google Ads. When you go on Google and you type like, trip to Jamaica or something like that, and you see all those ads on the side of your search or underneath your search, companies are paying money every time you click on those ads. And every one of those clicks can be 50 cents, $2, $10. In some niches like car insurance, it can be $100 per click. That is how Google makes $200 billion in revenue a year, okay, all those clicks. And companies need people like Nick, like my students, to manage the advertising. However, if you're a new advertiser on Google, when you sign up for your Google Ads account, they're going to say, hey, it's so easy to advertise with us. Just give us your website and tell us what you're selling. Are you a personal trainer? Are you a pizzeria? Whatever. We'll serve your ads to people on those Google searches, and you don't have to worry about it. We have all these automated tools. It's going to be great. Well, it's not great. That's why Nick has a job. That's why all these jobs exist, because Google, the casino, is telling advertisers, hey, just trust us. We'll spend your money wisely. And it doesn't work that way. In fact, about a week after you sign up for Google Ads, you get a call from a Google Ads specialist, kind of like the gambling specialist in my example, and they will literally say, oh, we've looked at your account, we're going to give you some suggestions. And the suggestions are always exactly the same. What do you think they are? What would Google want you to do? Spend more money and automate everything. They want you to give all the control to their automated systems. And this does not result in result in more sales or better better business for their advertiser. That's when customers, clients turn to people like myself or Nick or my other students who've been trained in how to actually make the account work properly, because Google cannot automate things and actually make a better profit for the customer, because it would go against its own business model. Google has a profit motive, just like the casino. It's the same thing with the gambling. Like, obviously the casino, maybe it wants 1 out of 1,000 people to win, but they can't have people winning all the time or they're going to lose money. With Google, imagine that you're an advertiser paying $100 per sale. Every time you spend $100 on those clicks, you make a sale, and maybe you make $200 every time you make a sale. So you have some profit, right? So you're happy enough with Google where you're going to keep advertising with them. You're not going to leave Google, you're going to stay. But you're thinking to yourself, wow, $100 per sale, that's a lot of money. I wish I could get a sale for $90 or $80 or even $50. If you turn to someone like Nick or one of my students, that's what their goal is. They're going to try to get you every sale as cheaply as possible. And they're going to be optimizing the account, coming up with new strategies and doing all sorts of detailed things. Google, remember, they're making money, $100 in profit every time you run your ads. Now Google turns around and says, oh, we've got this great new AI, and the AI is going to make your account more efficient. Do you really think that Google is going to turn that $100 profit for itself into $90, $80, $50? It can't do it at scale. It's going to lose money. So it's like, yeah, maybe they'll bring it down from $100 in acquisition to $90, but they couldn't do much more than that. What if they brought your acquisition cost down to $50? Now, instead of you spending $100 on Google, you're spending $50 on Google. Well, the customer's happy, but Google's not happy. Their revenue and their profit is going down and down and down. That means their stock price is also going to go down and down and down. They can't do it. Again, it's like trusting the casino. So no matter how much automation, and Google's been trying to do AI and automation for years, the more that Google tries to automate things, the more that Meta tries to automate things, the more there is a need for human beings to protect advertisers and protect advertisers' interests against the automation. Because at the end of the day, their automation can never really be that efficient, or they will lose money. And that is an equation that you'll never hear about on the news, because you need to hear it from people like myself or Nick who are actually working in the industry. That is why, guys, if you go look at my walkthrough videos, you're going to see, keep looking at these positions, whether it's an entry-level position, an associate position, or a mid-level position for paid search and even for SEO. The skill sets listed on these job postings are still the same skill sets they've been for years, which things like keyword research, proper account structure, A/B split testing, all the things that are actually necessary to run the account. And the AI, understanding of AI is becoming more and more important. I am not speaking out against AI. I am saying it is a supplement. It is icing on the cake compared to the fundamental digital marketing skills, which are still not taught in colleges, which is crazy. I just interviewed a student, Carmen, who's 19. She's making $38 an hour. She skipped college. She's talked to people who are majoring in marketing, and they don't even know what Google ads are. They don't know what CPC, CTR, KPIs are. They don't know any of that stuff. That's why there are still opportunities. That's why still, even when you see a job posting that says you want 2 to 4 years of experience, they want 2 to 4 years of experience. They hire my students who don't have that much experience, but they have the knowledge and the skills, and they have an understanding of these things so much more than any recent college graduate. And again, those are the people who take that fundamental understanding and experience, and now they can train the AI, they can use the AI intelligently. That's how you want to look at this. These jobs are secure, they have been so many changes in this industry for the last 15 years. I've watched things come and go, and AI is here to stay. But again, it is a tool. It is not a replacement. And this applies to, maybe I'll do another video about SEO and some other things about other aspects of digital marketing, other skill sets within digital marketing. But I focus on PPC primarily because I think that is the fastest way to get a job. Because when money is being spent, it's like follow the money. When money is being spent and something is at stake, that kind of job is going to stay in demand. And that's also where a lot of my students find it's easier to stand out because there are fewer people that actually have experience managing paid ads. Anyway, guys, the cat, you see this cat has been napping. I put the cat to sleep with my little rant here, so I'm going to take a cue from the cat and just chill out. But I encourage you guys to do the same thing in that regard, which is to say, take a deep breath and don't listen to the news. The people on the news are designed to get you upset and afraid. And think with a bit of nuance. Talk to people who are actually working in the field. You can always reach out to my students and you can ask them if you want, how is AI affecting your job? And most of them are going to say the same thing. Yeah, we're using it every day. It's a very powerful tool. It's not replacing these paid search positions, these SEO positions. And even in SEO, where people say, oh, SEO is dead because of AI, it's not. Because what happened last year, the year before, people were using AI to pump out all this content into the web. All these articles are being generated on websites, and then Google learned how to figure out what is AI-generated content. And by the way, the more you use AI, the more you can actually detect what is AI-generated content. I can tell pretty quickly if something was written using AI or not. And then you also realize that while the AI can output what looks to be impressive upon a first glance, if you want something that has any depth to it, if you want to make the AI really perform, you have to drive it like you drive a car or like you would play a piano. You really need somebody behind the wheel that is directing the AI to come up with the best results. That's how you want to look at AI. It is not automating or replacing most of these jobs. The only kind of jobs that AI can truly replace are very low skill, low level jobs. I had a job, I hired a guy. He would do timestamps on my videos. I would do coaching calls twice a week. In my course, my coaches do coaching calls twice a week, and he would watch the entire video, an hour-long video, and write out, this happens at minute 1, this happens at minute 4, this happens at minute 10. And I found an AI software that could do that in a fraction of the time for a fraction of the cost. And that, unfortunately, and I feel kind of bad about it, but it was just too easy, right, to replace that kind of a job with AI. But you have to think about the skill sets. That was listening to and typing out stuff. Just like data entry, just like a cashier. People say, oh, cashiers are going to be replaced by machines. Yeah, it's one of the lowest skill sets that you can have is to be a cashier. Anybody can walk, even that's why customers can do it. You walk into a Target, you have no training in how to be a cashier, but they expect you, the average customer, to take the barcode and just slide it across the register. No problem. That's a low value skill. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not that sophisticated. What we're teaching with digital marketing, with PPC, SEO, these are higher level strategic skill sets that have, and again, there's stuff at stake. People's businesses are at stake. Money is at stake. You're not a heart surgeon, but you're in the same tier of things, because it's important. And if somebody makes a mistake, that's another reason why these jobs pay so much money, is because you're taking on a level of responsibility, a level of mental capacity and strategy. That's what you have to offer when you actually learn these skill sets. And that's why I think, again, AI will be a tool that you will use. It's something that's going to enhance your performance, but it's not a replacement. Anyway, guys, if you want to know more about this, check out some of my interviews on my YouTube channel, or click the link below to check out my free webinar, how to get a $60,000 a year job within 1 year with no previous experience or education. Remember, the stuff I'm teaching in here is not being taught in colleges. I've had so many students skip college. If you have a degree, that's great, but you don't need one. Many of these jobs are remote. I've had people from all different backgrounds get jobs, people who are waiting tables, working in healthcare, very unhappy and burnt out, people who are engineers. All walks of life can get into digital marketing. It's a very exciting field. It's continuing to grow. Don't be afraid, intimidated by the news or anything. Use AI, embrace it, and think positively. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.